Hello, Colts Nation, and what is up, No Horsing family? Welcome back to another episode of the No Horsing Around podcast. As always, No Horsing Around is powered by WagerWire. WagerWire is a first of its kind app where you will be able to buy and sell your previously placed sports bets, jump in and out of futures all season, cash in on parlays before they bust, and trade game lines at the buzzer, y'all. Like it's going to change sports betting forever. You have no idea. Follow them at Twitter at WagerWire for sports talk, and also check out their Twitter Spaces. It's a really cool thing. By fans, for fans. You know we're all about that over here at No Horsing Around. Also, make sure you go to their website, wagerwire.com. Drop your email. The app is coming very, very soon. So, we're going to kind of continue our series, right? We have had more and more names come out. I think we're at a total of 6 to 7 coaches. Obviously, we did Raheem Morris recently. We're going to tackle another one, kind of an under the radar one. We're not talking about Harbaugh. We've beaten that horse, right? We're talking about names we know they have requested. And on tonight's episode, we're going to cover Ejiro Evero. I know, right? Like you guys are like, who is that? Hey, I had to Google it up a little bit too. I wanted to make sure I knew who I was talking about. Ejiro Evero is the current defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. And I don't know about you guys, that defense was legit this year. He did a great job coaching them up. The offense, just like the Colts, the offense was the issue for them, obviously, right? So let's kind of dive in. He's a younger head coach. He's a younger coordinator. I believe he's 42 years old. You know, Raheem Morris was 46 when we covered him. He's 42. He's got a lot of experience. And yet again, kind of cool. He's been on both sides of the ball. Didn't know that till I actually started looking into him a little bit further. But let's kind of backtrack his career a little bit, right? He obviously is with the Denver Broncos this season as their defensive coordinator. Prior to that, he spent several years, 2017 to this year, obviously, with the LA Rams, but he did it in a couple of different capacities, you guys. He was the secondary and the passing game coordinator, and he coached the safeties as well. Think about who they had in the secondary when he was there. Marcus Peters, Jalen Ramsey, right? Like that's pretty good. That's a good job. They had a really stout defense. Prior to that, he was in Green Bay, obviously, with Mike McCarthy as a defensive quality control. Now, this is where it gets kind of cool for me. Tracing back even further, there is a crossover, you guys, with someone everyone talks about. He was actually a offensive or a defensive assistant, I'm sorry, with Jim Harbaugh his final year with the Niners. So I had to kind of do a little bit of digging, right? Who was that? Who was the D coordinator essentially? Who was he working under? It's Vic Fangio, right? So I mean, good coaching tree there. He's got a connection with Harbaugh he's had in passing. He was also, here's the other thing though. He was also with Harbaugh in the previous couple of years in the Niners. And this is where it's kind of cool as an offensive assistant. So he's got the connection with Greg Roman, who was able to turn Kaepernick and Alex Smith and Frank Gore into a pretty potent offense. He's got connections there too. I like it. I'm loving the fact that we've got these guys who have been on both sides of the ball. I love that they're young, energetic, right? We know Raheem, as of the recording of this, he's going to be interviewing on Friday with us. Next, I think Tuesday, he's going to be interviewing with the Broncos. Ejiro Evero is, we've requested that interview. We also know he's going to be interviewed by the Broncos as well and could be a candidate for that. I like it. I've told you guys before. I like the pool better than I thought I would. I thought we were going to get like Leslie Frazier, Jim Caldwell, kind of these names that we just didn't tickle your fancy a little bit, right? But I'm liking who we're looking at. We're going to be dropping these. I'm going to try to drop them a little bit more often because we're getting into the actual interviews, right? But it's another good name, and you are not the only one looking for him, which is a sign that he's a good candidate. He just may not be the candidate that you want. I tweeted this out, and I'm going to say this after every single one from here on out, right? Is that I like what Ballard said in the presser, that you cannot go into a head coaching search with an end in mind, a predetermined end in mind. You have to kind of go through it and be willing to be almost wooed and convinced by people. I use this example, and I found it and I tweeted it out, and I thought it was great. In 2007, the Pittsburgh Steelers were down to two candidates, and they interviewed a third person. The two candidates that they were getting ready to potentially hire were either Ken Whisenhunt, who was a dud as a head coach outside of the one Super Bowl he had with the Cardinals, and then he was a dud when he got hired again by the Titans, or Russ Grimm, who was never a head coach. They brought in one final interview, and at the time it was actually to meet the Rooney Rule, a lot of people said, and that was Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin absolutely changed their mind in that interview. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that was probably the right decision. Never had a losing season, Super Bowl champion, 2 Super Bowl appearances. I think he's good. And that's what you got to do. That's why I like these names, these young names that no one's thinking about. And I know Raheem Morris, and I know Ejiro aren't names that necessarily people know, but get him in there. Let him talk to Ballard. See if he can woo them. I'm all for it. I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you guys think of this one? What do you guys think? What would you think of if he got hired? How do you feel? I like the connections that I see so far with the two that we've kind of dissected. I like their ability to potentially put a staff together around them. Let's have fun with this, you guys. As always, please, you guys, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. I look forward to hearing from you guys on this one. And as always, I love you. I know Zach loves you. Go Colts. We're out.